Ruby Hoang is the Chief Operating Officer of Chợ Tốt, which is part of the Carousell Group in Singapore. She works in the Vietnam operations, having started with them 10 years ago. And she's moved from being in the marketing space to looking after operations of the horizontal platform with 4 verticals in property, automobiles, blue-collar jobs, and second-hand goods. I'm looking forward to our conversation on e-commerce trends, as well as the entrepreneurial mindset, as well as crisis-ready mindset. Ruby, welcome to the Thriving in the Age of Disruption podcast series. I'm really excited that you could join us in person. We could start off by having you introduce yourself.
I'm Ruby, and currently I'm the COO at Chợ Tốt, a marketplace in Vietnam. And I've been with the company for 10 years. Before going back to Vietnam, I was in Singapore for university and for work.
You studied in Singapore for how many years?
I studied in Singapore for 4 years. During that time, the Singapore government still offer us the MFA scholarship. I won a scholarship. After graduation, I worked for 4 years. And then I went back.
Wow. So you've been in Singapore for 8 years then?
Yes. Yeah.
One of the reasons why I'm having this podcast series is to highlight 2 different mindsets that I feel are very critical for the VUCA world, the entrepreneurial mindset and a crisis-ready mindset. And I wanted to explore this mindset, not just with people who start and run their own business, but also with people like yourself who work in a corporate. Let me explain what I mean by an entrepreneurial mindset. You are someone who is being resourceful, which means that you can identify the right problem. There is a saying that if you get the problem defined correctly, it's half solved.
Yes.
2 is you're able to manage uncertainty and take risks. And 3 is that you're able to create value, which is both financial and non-financial for yourself and for your stakeholders.
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, you've been with Chợ Tốt for the last 10 years.
Yes.
And you've grown with them.
Yes.
Share with us how your entrepreneurial mindsets supported you to grow during this journey.
That's a very interesting question. Reflecting on the past 10 years with Chợ Tốt, I think that the entrepreneurship mindset would come from an open mindset, open to the uncertainty, the opportunities, and the challenges as well. We started as a horizontal platform. And after a few years, we pivot into different verticals to serve the consumers with their pains and their needs. So by embracing the customer pain points and then applying tech, product, and business practice as well, we could solve the problems for them. So that's one thing. The second is how to make decisions about the focus of the company at certain time. You cannot do all the things, and you need to give the team and your management the clarity as well. So that require you to dive deep into the key things, the key bets that you want to play.
You've actually highlighted 2 very important points as a business.
Yeah.
And you've got the original product or a service offering.
Yes.
And then as you discover the customer's pain point, you have to be open and ready to pivot and adapt your business model.
That's right.
Otherwise, you're not going to be relevant, not going to be sustainable. So that's an important piece. And the second piece is your organization has limited resources. So within the limited resources, how do you give clarity to the management team? How do you get people to focus? So thank you for sharing that even within a corporate system, these entrepreneurial characteristics are important and that shapes your thinking.
Yes.
So if I can just ask you a little bit about e-commerce in Vietnam the last 10 years, and I'm sure you've seen the difference. If I remember in the early days, people would buy online, but someone will come on a motorbike to collect the money and give the goods.
Yes.
Tell us about that journey in Vietnam.
I will share about the classifieds and the nature of buying and selling secondhand goods.
Okay, great.
So 10 years ago, when we first started in Vietnam, we learned that the Vietnamese consumers were not ready with shopping online when they want to let go of their pre-loved items, the item they no longer need. They still familiar with alternatives like listing on a newspaper give to friends, sell to relatives, etc., etc. So how to make them install an app or go onto a website and sell. Yes. So in order to attract and encourage them to use the platform, we need to ensure one key thing, which is easy to use. How to make it really, really simple. No need to log in order to browse and to buy. So make it really seamless for them. But after a few years, when more e-commerce players enter the market and invested to educate the consumers, then we see that new needs started to emerge. Like easy to use was no longer a problem. It's more about convenience. So for e-commerce platform, they're more about the new items. But back to Chợ Tốt or the classified platform, how to make buying and selling secondhand items really convenient, just like you buy a new item. So we need to tackle convenience in the sense that how to have them save time, save the energy, efforts in handling buyers, the sellers, delivery, etc. So we state the use case of convenience. Then we also learned that in order to encourage them, besides convenience, it's also about trust. Yeah, because it's secondhand.
Right.
So how to make a person have peace of mind staying at home, buy and sell. So trust is another issue.
Right.
Yeah, it's like shifting from easy to use to convenience and trust at the same time.
And so that's the journey that you've taken in your
Yeah.
e-commerce experience.
Yeah, that's the journey. Somehow it's applicable for both low value and high value item as well.
Right.
Like for example, for buying a used cars.
Yes. Do you sell used cars on your platform?
We sell used cars on our platform. Actually, cars is one of our strong verticals. So we encourage people to buy and sell used cars and used motorbikes. Yeah. So again, besides convenience, trust is a key thing for that.
Yes.
And in order to ensure trust, we need to invest more in offline operation as well. So it's a mixture between online and offline. Yeah.
Right.
People can go online to check and see. And then we still need offline team to carry out the inspection to check the quality of the listed product. Yeah, to increase the peace of mind for the consumers.
Oh, lovely. But then you don't need offline space for displaying the product, right? Because that product will only be seen when you purchase it.
It would depend on the category. For example, for now, we still have for cars.
Yes.
Yes, we also have a salon to display the used cars.
wow.
Yes, so let me explain a bit about that. So we want to build a trusted inventory of cars on Chợ Tốt. So one thing, we will go and tell the dealers that they need to upgrade their quality or they need to show that their used cars have certain quality.
Right.
And then in parallel, we will role model for them by showing them that, look, when Chợ Tốt sell cars, we actually carry out inspection, ensure certification for the cars, and we have a salon to display so people can go online to browse, to check online, but then they can go offline to the shop to have a look, test drive, and then do the transaction.
Oh, lovely. Sophisticated, that entire customer journey of buying something online, and yet you have the physical experience for them. And mostly that is to give them the security or the safety net of being able to touch and feel and know that they're buying what they thought
That's right, because that's a high value item. It's different from buying a used mobile phone or used clothes. Then you can get more confidence buying online.
Okay. Chợ Tốt is actually a subsidiary of Carousell in Singapore.
Yes.
So how is it like working for a company which is regional or international? You have HQ and there is also the innovation. What are some of the local Vietnamese innovations?
This is a great experience working locally and then interacting with the regional company. Yes. And I must say that one of the aspiration when I work at my company is also about the leadership team. I respect and admire the leaders at Carousell and at Chợ Tốt because to me, our leaders are competent and trustworthy, transparent. They empower other leaders and give autonomy and space for the leaders to take ownership, accountability to carry out proposal, the target and the goal that we build. That's one key thing that Carousell really does a good job. And Chợ Tốt locally, we're also doing our best to provide that for the team members.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing the corporate culture of Carousell/Chợ Tốt in Vietnam. On a related note, I wonder whether you have some advice for emerging young leaders, and especially for young women leaders.
I reflect a bit on my personal story when
Yes.
I was first promoted to be a leader. I still consider leadership was something about improving oneself, proving one's competency, proving to others that you're a competent leader. So it still somehow revolves around yourself and your problems. Then I started to realize and learn that leadership is about doing things bigger than your ego, your fear, and need to revolve around the best for the company, for the organization, for the team, and for the users. So how to keep that mindset, keep that commitment to help you ensure that during difficult times, you remember and make the decisions based on that commitment. Then it will help you set a North Star metric, keep you solid.
Oh, excellent. So I want to move on to the next mindset I call as crisis ready mindset. A crisis can be a setback or a failure. What happens is that you have that moment where you're either going to die or you do something and live. COVID was a great example for most of us about a crisis. The other thing about crisis is that some of us can freeze, some fight back, and some of us might just flee away. So I want to engage in a conversation about how you deal with crisis, if you can talk us through a crisis. And how do you develop your own coping mechanism or the support structure that supported you in a crisis?
I think that when I face a big crisis, the first thing due to my nature, I would go to my support system. I would go to find my coach or my mentor, an expert in that area.
Yes.
And then I might go and look for the friends that I might not have a close connection. I think that somehow they experience the same thing like me and get the news perspective about how they deal with it. If possible, I would find expert in the market just to ensure that I gather enough information, case studies to learn, and then express my difficulty, listen to their viewpoints. The second important thing I need to do is to have a crucial conversation with myself to find out how I feel, what I really want, what are the options I could choose to respond. So it's a conversation with myself in a quiet space, have the freedom to reflect
choose.
and to choose. Yes, so that's more about the personal crisis. And when it comes to work crisis, first I will tap on the collective wisdom in the team, in the
Yes.
company, in other similar company as well. But at the end of the day, it's still more about the management team need to sit together because we are the one who are accountable for the results. And then we will challenge, debate, and maybe disagree to agree, and then commit to a decision to solve the crisis. Yeah.
I really love how you describe both the experience of solving a crisis in your personal setting as well as in the corporate. What stood out for me was firstly that openness to explore different perspectives. So being able to leverage on their lesson learned, a very good place to start. You've actually called out a very important aspect, which is being vulnerable to open up and say, look, I have a difficulty.
Yes.
Can you share with me what you've gone through? Ultimately, like anything else, we have to take ownership and take charge. And we do have a choice about how we deal with it. You have created for us to really see that ultimately, after hearing from all the experts, the coach, the mentor, we still have the choice of choosing what we want to do, right?
Yes.
People think that if we ask others, we somehow give up our choice. Did you ever have that as a dilemma for yourself?
Not that much. I did a lot of tests on myself to discover as well. One of my attributes as a person is the eagerness to learn. I love learning so much. That's why I always treat it as a learning experience. So I just keep curiosity, and then I ask why they do it, how they do it, what's the lessons. So by letting go of the fear of being judged, then I can tap other resource, increase the chance of success for the team or the company as well. I want to share one important thing as well, that when I had the chance to meet and talk to successful leaders, like very famous or popular in Vietnam, it was also very surprising for me that they also tell me the same thing. They say that it's about the courage to go and ask for help or for advice, to learn from other organizations. So I think that if they are successful and they still do it, why I couldn't do similar things?
You have a high level of self-awareness. Was it consciously that you started to develop that, or by accident?
It started with my conversation with my former boss. So I asked him what's the most important attributes of a leader. And then very surprising to me, he told me that it's about self-awareness. At that point of time, I didn't really understand it that much. But then last year, I had the chance to join your Surviving or Thriving workshop, the Sustainable Success workshop. During the 2 days spending with you, and I understand much more deeply about the importance of self-awareness of the leader. I was enlightened. The performance of a leader as well as the performance of the team or the company all depends on each individual. So I think that that's a very important lesson for me. I give more reflection into my daily work and my daily life. But thank you so much for sharing that insight with me.
Oh, you're welcome. Where are you in your spiritual journey?
The spiritual journey?
Yes.
Spirituality could be up to my definition.
Yes. And how do you define it?
I would define it as the freedom to choose how I feel or how I think or how I perceive any incident, any event that happens to my life. The journey is so long and so far. I still haven't seen the destination yet. But by meeting many people, I just have the inspiration from them. And I realized that, okay, it's possible that you can get the freedom. You can choose to let go of fear of perception, of judgment. Yes. And you can choose how you have the conversation with oneself. So a few months ago, I had a chance to visit Plum Village in Australia. Very funny that during those 2 days, I was very busy doing the planning exercise of the company at that location where I should practice more about meditation, mindfulness, etc. But anyway, I managed to have 1 hour booking, 1 hour coaching with a senior monk there. So during the conversation, I also realized that, okay, come back to the foundation of life. It's not about power, position, wealth, or money. It's come back to the core things that are meaningful to one's life. So it's a timely reminder for me that at the end of the day, what are really important, how you choose to spend time and how you choose to control and have the peace of mind and freedom for yourself. It sounds a bit spiritual, but actually it helped a lot at the work life as well. It helped me be less serious. Don't take it so serious. It is not personal. Treat it like a flow of life. Observe it and remind yourself you have the freedom to choose. So I think it's really wonderful. Yeah, but the journey is still far. I know I still need to practice.
It was so moving the way you shared it. Spirituality, it's that journey rather than the destination.
It's easy to say, but it's so difficult to apply.
That's right.
But I think once we are more mindful, like you shared with us before, slowly meditate a little bit, then I think we can remember and we can do it. And I really like the way you say it, like train the muscle. When you are feeling good, you also keep training. So it will help you get stronger during the crisis time. Yeah. It's really important.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really great. Thank you. Do you think it's possible for us to live a simple life today in this world? And what's a simple life?
Honestly, I'm not a person who follow or pursue a simple life
Right.
because my hobbies is like fashion and decoration, home
Yes.
interior, so much.
Yes.
But anyway, I think that at the end of the day, one can live a simple life. Every day we can have pressure, very busy with many projects and responsibilities. But simple life to me would mean you are able to pause and identify what are really the most important things for you. What are the key things people you still want to devote your time and energy to. That's simple life to me. And I feel that luckily I can still do it.
Right.
And describing it in another way, I have been building a habit that at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, I would have a cup of tea, very simple. But having a cup of tea, just sitting quietly for 10 minutes, it helped me build up clarity and keep myself calm before dealing with any hassle during the day. So that simple luxury is meaningful, could signal of a simple life as well.
There are things that we can do and are
Yeah.
probably doing in our lives which can be symbolic of that simplicity.
Yeah, maybe we cannot live a simple life at every moment, but we
Right.
can inject those simple moments
Yes.
during a busy day and make us appreciate life much more than KPIs or projects or timeline and roadmap and priorities. Yeah.
That's right. If you had to describe thriving, what are the
Yes.
3 words that you would use to describe it?
Thriving would mean during the times when you want to quit or you want to give up, you want to get away so much, but you can still pause for 1 second and then you can ask a question
Yes.
back to gain clarity and then open a new space for everyone to grow from it rather than be held back from that. Have the courage to let go of ego and fear and then ask the question or just give statement, sharing your opinion, be open. That's thriving to me. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes, I learned
Great.
that from the workshop too,
Yeah.
but I really practice it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your business model at Choto or Carousell, which is
you.
about recycling because you're taking a pre-loved product and passing it on to someone who would want to use it. In our consulting, we say that sustainability is the ongoing thriving of a living system, and it usually starts with the mindset. But in your business, in your company, how do you actually talk about sustainability?
We treat sustainability as a mission that make secondhand the first choice. How to make it consumption habit, especially in Vietnam, when
Okay.
people are still preferring using new items. Some still want to. They think that using secondhand could be in affecting their face showing,
Yes,
etc.
yes.
So we want to keep that vision. That's one thing. Second thing, to us, sustainability would be beyond secondhand as well. It's about creating possibilities for others by building a platform that offering different kind of products to different stage of life for Vietnamese. For example, when you are still young, you are a student, you can buy and sell home appliances or mobile phones or laptops on the platform. And then you graduated, you would need to upgrade the device. Or when you get married, you want to rent an apartment, or later you want to buy an apartment for your family. And then you want to upgrade from a motorbike to a used car for the children as well. So sustainability would mean that regardless of what income you have or what lifestyle you can afford or what lifestyle you pursue, Chợ Tốt always provide you with options or alternatives to upgrade your life, making it more comfortable, easier, more convenient. So that's the whole vision we want to achieve to empower the millions Vietnamese people.
That's quite inspiring. I never realized that. Any big trend shaping e-commerce in Vietnam?
The one big trend that we observe is about the shopping experience. People start to shift from the standard shopping experience to more shoppertainment, like video, live stream.
Right.
It will give them more experience, enjoying the interaction with the sellers. Observing that trend, Chợ Tốt start to integrate more shopping formats, selling and buying formats, especially the video experience, how to make people really enjoying, interact. That's becoming a big trend in China or the world as well. So that's one thing. The second thing is go back to the basics, advertising with the user's pain points. Because for now, when you ask a consumer what they need when they choose to go shopping, choosing an e-commerce, it again would be about good deals, cheap pricing, yes, and it's about variety, a lot of things in big inventory. But actually, those things you can easily copy from each other. So how to build a unique selling point for your service, for your platform, you need to think and you need to find the niche. Otherwise, you cannot compete on price, compete on inventory or convenience anymore. So dive deep into a certain segment, really solve the pain point that I think e-commerce need to reflect in order to stand out in the crowded market.
Okay, thank you. So, what has been the most difficult decision that you've ever had to make in your career, and what did you learn from it?
The biggest decision would be to go back to Vietnam. Yes, during that time, my husband and I were still in Singapore, so it's really a hard decision for me. I just discovered about Chợ Tốt. I saw that so many friends going back, and then whether I should go back. It could be so different in culture, in the way people work. Yes, maybe in the mindset as well. So eventually, I made that decision, and I was very grateful that my husband also supported my decision as well. Yep.
Right. Oh, excellent.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you some fun questions, so don't overthink it. The first question is, what's your favorite book?
I read so many books, so just let me think for a few seconds. Principles by Ray Dalio.
Yes.
I really love it. Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Lovely. And what's your favorite travel destination?
Favorite travel destination?
Mm.
Đà Lạt.
Oh.
Yeah, Đà Lạt is my hometown. Interestingly, I was not that interested in it before, but just recently I get the habit of going into the woods, the forest, trekking there. So feel that I don't need to go that far to Europe or Australia. I can just go to my next door hometown to really go into the nature and enjoy.
You must share with me where I can actually go and do that.
Yeah,
I haven't been to Đà Lạt yet. So
yeah,
I'd
you
love
must
to.
try it. Yeah, I can send you a few destinations.
Okay,
for
and
sure.
maybe where to stay as well.
Yes, it's really wonderful. It's just like little Paris or little Europe town.
And if you could have any superpower, what would you like to have?
I like to have quiet, peaceful world for a while.
And what's the best advice that you've ever received in your life?
One of my former boss, before she left, I asked her, and then she said that the good thing about me is I speed up so much, want to learn a lot, do a lot of things. But sometimes I need to slow down, just to live for myself and just to reflect, my journey. It would give me more energy to continue going.
Okay, we've come to the end of our podcast interview.
Thank you again, Dr. Ramesh, for inviting me for the podcast. And thank you, everyone. I hope that today I could share some insights with you and it might be helpful for your daily work and your daily life.
Thank you so much, Ruby.